In a video I made last year about Superior Extra, I showed you some pictures right at the end of a test roll that I shot on my, at the time, brand new EOS 3000. Now this test roll was incredible, definitely the best test roll I've ever shot in my life, and perhaps one of the best rolls I've shot in general. And the film that I used to shoot this roll was of course Kodak Gold, and since then I've meant to shoot it once more, but I kept finding other films to be occupied by, until I found myself travelling to visit my mother just as COVID-19 began to affect daily life in Australia. With most camera stores closed, the only two options of film I had to choose from were either Kodak Ultramax or Kodak Gold. And if you know anything about me, you know I wasn't going to choose Ultramax. So from there, with my 3 rolls of film, I was poised very enthusiastically and with high expectations to make a video all about Kodak Gold. I'm here in Cairns with my EOS 3000 and a roll of Kodak Gold. I'm just taking some pictures and wandering around. In the past, I've really enjoyed using Kodak Gold in direct sunlight. I found it to be really nice, but I thought I'd give it a shot in this miserable cloudiness. This film is rated ASA 200. It's getting quite dark. As ever, when shooting a roll for a review, I seek to shoot in different lighting conditions, which affects color temperatures, and that helps to generally assess the overall look of the stock. That's now half a roll shot, and I'm shooting at 1/8 of a second now, and I don't have a tripod with me, so I'm just gonna have to leave this camera still. There's a reason they call it a stills camera. And it's not because of this, that's such a dad joke. From there, the next images that I took were a few days later in the middle of a rainforest, continuing with what I said about trying the film in different conditions. Today I've come with my mum to look at a waterfall. What's a waterfall name?
Josephine Falls.
Josephine Falls. Multiple waterfalls. Not a bad holiday. The images from my trip were great, although I have to admit, it took me a while to warm up to them, because I just couldn't stop myself from comparing Gold with Portra, all because my prior experience with that one roll was, well, it was great. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was comparable to Portra, although I also haven't had that much experience with Portra, so. Since then, I've shot quite a bit more Portra, and I have to say that, well, the colors, whilst at times unnatural, are brilliant. It's got that very warm Kodak look to it, and to me, that brings a lot of personality to the photographs. And if you expose well, you can get a Portra-like kind of image out of Gold, except more contrasty and more saturated. But that's a thing that one can change with post-processing. But by no way does that mean that it's on the same level as Portra. It is a budget film, and like I said, you can achieve Portra-like images, but not every photo will be like Portra. Quite obviously, comparing the two is just unfair to Gold, because it's not a Kodak professional film. You have to compare Gold with all the other budget film stocks, and from my experience, it's fared pretty well above quite a lot of them, definitely above Ultramax. With that professional look on perfect exposures at a cheap price tag, it's brilliant. Though there is something that brings it down for me, which is the ASA 200 situation. That's just not bright enough for casual shooting, in my opinion. And looking back at the images that I've shown in this video so far, they haven't really been shot in the most ideal conditions, in my opinion, for ASA 200. There's a lot of shadows in these images and not nearly enough direct sunlight. So to remedy that, I decided to take the third and final roll back here at home just a few days ago. And I shot this roll all in one go in just about the most desirable weather possible.
Just because the film is called Kodak Gold, I thought we'd shoot during the golden hour and also a little bit during the blue hour because the blue hour is my favorite. F22.
The results from this third roll were great, just like the others, though it was with this one that I started to notice just a few little problems. Similar to Ultramax, for a few of the images, the roll off into the highlights and the roll off into the shadows were just a bit too steep for me. And as far as color's concerned, shooting at sunset made me realize how crappy this film is at capturing pinks and reds during a sunset. And it's even worse in a video like this where you can see what my 5D Mark IV was capturing at that time. And because of that, I felt like a few of the images were too overpowered by that warm yellow Kodak cast, which you can see very clearly in these images that I took of Jaden, who was my cameraman for that day at the beach. Thanks. I took these portraits of him during the blue hour and his skin is so yellow and so absent of life. He just looks sickly. They are bad skin tones. Jaden doesn't look like that in real life, trust me. But again, putting things into perspective, that's okay. No film stock is perfect, really. And ultimately, if I wanted great skin tones, I'd just shoot Portra. It's a great cheap film. I definitely want to shoot more with it in the future, but probably during the day and for shots that don't have too much dynamic range. And as ever, don't take my word as absolute. Shoot the film for yourself. I got some very nice pictures with this film and I'm definitely happy I tried it. And if you've shot Kodak Gold before, let me know about your experiences in the comments down below. I'd love to hear how your experience was different or similar or whatever. Just let me know how it went. That way we can all learn together in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this review type video. I'm gonna end this one a little bit differently by showing you a section of video that I filmed that I was gonna put into the main review, but then I didn't take enough photographs to sort of justify it. It's me taking some long exposures with Kodak Gold. The photographs that I take in the following sequence are some of my favorites from that third and final roll. If you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs up, smash notification bell and subscribe to see all my latest content. And yeah, enjoy this clip. I really like it.
So as you can see, we're very clearly running out of light and I want to get a silhouette shot of that rock here. So I'm going to set up my tripod and hopefully get it. We're looking at a 1 second exposure. I've got a self-timer mode on this camera, so I'm gonna make sure I'm happy with that composition and let it go. From the same position, because I'm a bit lazy, I'm just gonna move the camera to get the skyline and see if I can get that. The previous shot I shot at f4, so I'm gonna shoot this one at f22 because I really wanna make sure that that city's in focus. I wanna expand that depth of field as much as possible. And I don't think I'm gonna have much luck focusing because the autofocus is not really suited for when it starts. It's a 20-second exposure, so here we go. Let's see. Continuing with this laziness, I'm gonna turn the camera this way now and get a shot of these trees. Here we are. 8 seconds at f11. Let's see if it works out. I have no idea if any of these long exposures are gonna do any good, but hopefully they have. I previously shot one shot as a long exposure when I shot a roll of Portra, but that's it really. I've only ever once done a long exposure. So now I've done 4. Well, let's do a wide of this.